The night the police surrounded her house, the entire neighborhood held its breath. Flashing red and blue lights painted the snow in trembling colors, and whispers spread through the cold air like smoke. No one expected that behind that small wooden door was not a criminal, but a little girl whose only crime was kindness. If you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that even the smallest hearts can change the biggest storms. It had been the coldest winter the town had seen in years. Snow fell in thick, endless sheets, burying streets, cars, and even doorsteps. The wind howled against the wooden houses, slipping through cracks and freezing everything it touched. That evening, as most families stayed inside wrapped in blankets, 8-year-old Emma stood near her bedroom window watching the storm swallow the world outside. She loved the snow, but tonight it felt different. Tonight it felt cruel. She noticed movement near the wooden bench beside her house. At first, she thought it was just snow drifting in strange shapes. But then she saw them, two small dogs, shivering uncontrollably, their fur coated in ice. Thin icicles clung to their faces, hanging from their whiskers and ears like frozen tears. They were pressed together, trying desperately to share warmth that neither of them had left. Emma's heart ached in a way she didn't fully understand. She knew what cold felt like. She knew what it felt like to be scared. Since her mother had passed away the year before, the house had felt bigger, quieter, and sometimes unbearably lonely. Her father worked long hours, trying to hold everything together. Emma had learned not to ask for much. But when she saw those two trembling animals, she felt something stronger than fear. Without telling anyone, she wrapped herself in her red winter coat and slipped outside. The wind bit her cheeks instantly, and snow soaked into her boots. She moved slowly toward the bench, whispering soft reassurances as if the dogs could understand her promise. They didn't run. They were too weak. Their eyes followed her with a mixture of exhaustion and fragile hope. Gently, carefully, she lifted one and then the other. They were lighter than she expected, their small bodies stiff from the cold. She hurried back inside, closing the door quietly so her father wouldn't hear. She dried them with towels, wrapped them in blankets, and placed them near the heater. For hours, she sat beside them, rubbing their tiny paws, watching as the ice melted from their fur and dripped onto the floor. That night, she fell asleep on the couch beside them. The next morning, the sound of sirens shattered the fragile peace. Emma woke to flashing lights pouring through the windows. Her father rushed to the door, confusion etched across his tired face. Outside, police cars lined the street. Officers stood near the gate, speaking urgently into radios. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains. Fear gripped Emma's chest. Had she done something wrong? The truth unfolded quickly. The two dogs she had rescued were not ordinary strays. They were missing canine puppies belonging to the local police department. The night before, during the storm, a transport vehicle had skidded off an icy road. In the chaos, the two young dogs had escaped into the blizzard. Officers had searched all night, fearing the worst in such brutal temperatures. When Emma's father explained what she had done, the officers' expressions changed. They stepped inside and saw the puppies curled safely together on the living room rug, now warm, fed, and sleeping peacefully. Icicles were gone. Their breathing was steady. One of them slowly wagged its tail. The tension dissolved into something softer. One officer knelt beside Emma, his heavy boots melting snow onto the floor. He told her that she had saved their lives. Another explained how these dogs were being trained to protect people, to find lost children, to serve the community one day. Without her courage, they would not have survived the night. The neighbors who had watched in suspicion now watched in awe. But what no one saw was the quiet transformation happening inside Emma. For the first time since her mother's death, she felt needed. She felt brave. She felt like her small hands had made a real difference in a world that had felt so heavy. In the days that followed, the police department publicly thanked her. A photo of Emma standing shyly beside the two recovered puppies appeared in the local newspaper. The officers invited her to visit the training grounds whenever she wanted. The once lonely house began to feel filled with something new, purpose. Her father noticed it too. He saw the light return to her eyes, the way she spoke with excitement instead of silence. He realized that in saving those dogs, she had also saved a part of herself. Kindness is often quiet. It rarely asks permission. It doesn't calculate consequences. That night, Emma didn't think about ownership, rules, or recognition. She saw suffering, and she chose warmth. Before we reach the end, I want to ask you something special. Comment, kindness wins, if you believe one small act can change a life. Your words matter more than you know. The police cars eventually left. The flashing lights faded. Snow continued to fall, covering the tracks from the night before. But something had shifted forever in that little house. Emma learned that courage doesn't always look loud or strong. Sometimes it looks like a child in a red coat, stepping into a storm for someone who cannot ask for help. And if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that compassion still lives in this world, please like, share, and subscribe. Because somewhere tonight, another small act of kindness is waiting to be seen.